Guess what? I just got back my student evaluations and my numbers look wild. Whoa. Numbers and narratives. That's what I want to talk about today. Currently, I'm looking over my grades. I'm also looking at my finances. It's the beginning of the year. My 35th birthday just passed. And so I'm trying to set some new goals, some new financial goals, some new creative goals. And the numbers are tricky, right? Because it is easy to see the numbers and tell so many different stories. And so that's why I want to impart on you today that there are a bunch of narratives that can be created and manipulated around the numbers, whether that's your grades that you're given in your classroom, the test scores that your students are earning. And don't get me wrong, I do not miss the days of state testing. Oh my God, state testing was difficult. It just takes me back to when you got to cover your wall. You know, I remember this even as a kid, we had to cover the wall. The teacher has to take everything out of the room, and you just feel like you're just there. It's you, a sheet of paper, testing paper, the little vanilla folders we use so people didn't cheat off of you, and all you can hear is the clock ticking and the scribbling of pencils. This is before we did the computer-based testing. This is way back in the 90s and the early 2000s. So I don't miss those days of having the numbers stress us out. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy quantitative analysis, but I think it is also important to bring in the qualitative analysis as well, because our kids are not numbers. Don't get me wrong, numbers are a part of the game of teaching, but I refuse to dehumanize my kids and look at them as merely numbers and letters on a sheet of paper. Now, again, I understand the business, but the human side of me wants to always recognize that my kids are real people, just like me too. My paycheck doesn't say everything about me. My credit score doesn't say how great of a character I am or you are. I'm looking at my notes. The reason why this topic came up for me, I think it's really easy to be enamored by the numbers or to have the numbers feed into your ego or create some false mythical perception of reality that may not be true, right? I have seen teachers have all A pluses, all the kids have A pluses, but you go in that classroom, you talk to students, and you wonder about the teaching and learning experience, right? I've even been pegged as a teacher who's too hard and I don't give the highest grades. And that's the rumor that's been stirred around my whole teaching persona in the last couple of years at my current high school. I'm telling you this because just be aware, right? I don't want you to be paranoid of the numbers, but I want you to be aware of the numbers and be data-driven, data-informed, and also making sure that you get qualitative analysis to couple that with the quantitative analysis. For example, I know that the numbers have implications, they have interpretations, they have institutional implications as well. So be mindful of how your institution, how your school handles the numbers, and what's the recourse a school, a district may have looking at the numbers, whether that's your AP scores, your state testing scores, your reading scores, math scores, all the scores. Just be mindful in having some way, some framework, some context, some way to understand the numbers, because it's really easy to go off first reactions to the numbers, right? I just got my teacher evaluation report back. My numbers look high, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm being a great teacher, right? And so having that self-awareness and self-accountability around the numbers and asking yourself, what can I do better? What do these numbers actually say? And how do these numbers measure up to what I'm seeing in my classroom from my students and from myself, as well as from my peer observation feedback? If you feel comfortable having people come check out your classroom, and if they do, have them come back multiple times. Don't let them just see one class, because that can be out of context and doesn't tell the full story, but have them come back dozens of times, wherever you feel comfortable, in order to get that feedback. Now, why does that matter to me as a Black male educator? I'll tell you first, as a student, the numbers sometimes help push and marginalize Black boys, Black men out of school. Those numbers participated in making sure that we were on that pipeline from school to prison pipeline. As a teacher, same deal. I try not to let the numbers get to my head, whether that's boosting my ego or lowering my self-esteem. If anything, I try to use the numbers as just another set of data. Also, just a way to inform my practice and how to get better, right? So don't let the numbers trick you, and don't let the narratives people tell around the numbers trick you as well. Just be aware. That's all I'm saying. And that's just a quick bit around numbers and narratives. I'm D. White, founder of JustBlackThoughts.com. You see the gear? Go get you a sweatshirt, man. Help your boy out. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, and peace. Hey, it's D. White, founder of JustBlackThoughts.com. If you haven't done so, hit subscribe on YouTube. Follow me at The Other English Teacher on Instagram and YouTube. Peace. Today, I want to talk to you about numbers and narratives. I'm in the midst of... I want to talk to you about numbers and narratives. All right?